How's it going? Today I was going to do a video on the start of my upgrading my surf fishing cart. So I bought this last year and did some basic modifications and took it fishing for my family vacation. Worked out great for the most part. Want to walk through how it is right now, how I set it up last year, and then work through some of the plan for what we're doing for this coming year. To start out, this was an Offshore Angler deluxe cart with these beach tires. You get this at Bass Pro Shops. I got it's like $240, something like that. When I bought the cart, I did a couple modifications. I put these are the rod holders that come with the Offshore Angler cart, and they have these weak clamps. So I through bolted them to the frame, so they're nice and sturdy, holding my surf rods. I did these longer PVC holders with caps on the bottom to hold my rod tips, because the place I fish has real tree cover to get through to the beach. So I have to separate my long rods into two pieces to get through the tunnel area to the beach. So I have my rod tip holders. And then bought this cooler off Marketplace, just a cheapo used cooler, but it fits the cart well. Put some extra rod holders on that because when I go on a pier, I just take the cooler, it's on wheels. I can put 2 rods in it and carry it with my backpack. Be good to go. I also put a rod holder zip tied on here with the bait bucket from a Fishing Mate senior cart. This I didn't use as much as I thought I would. It moved around a lot, so I'm kind of unimpressed with how this worked. Just had zip tied this spike holder on. Again, not super impressed with it. Moves a lot. It actually touched the tire and slow the wheels down, and that was inconvenient. So that's going to change. Biggest thing I did last year was made this a push cart. So my handle is much higher than the one you get. Usually the handle's down here and you pull behind you. I don't want that. I want a push cart. So I modified my handle. What I did to do that was I bought a large caster off Amazon and mounted it to the foot. And then I've cut and added a Fishing Mate extension to my handle. Well, what happened was my modifications did not hold, and so they broke. My handle was loose, as you can see, and failed. So one of the things we're going to do is upgrade this handle. Now, this wood, this was a temporary fix to keep me fishing for the week. I splinted it essentially with these yardsticks. Had another one, had a third one right here. Gorilla taped it, and it held. I was able to fish. Ended up on my last day catching a huge grouper from the beach, a Goliath.
There you go.
Let's go, baby.
Grouper. So overall, very happy. Had this other basket zip tied on there for like cell phone stuff like that. But this handle is going to be one thing that's changing. Overall, I'm very happy with the cart. It's lightweight. It's super lightweight, even with these big tires. However, my wheel I bought is very heavy, and that actually, it's got to go. So I'm changing this. I'm leaving these tires. These are the ones that came on the Offshore Angler. 16-inch tires. I already bought another set. These are the Vevor 16-inch tires. These are the Vevor 16-inch tires off Amazon. So we're going to make these work. It's going to be a 4-wheel setup. I'm going to move this axle out and put another axle right here. To go along with that, these come with nice bearings installed in the wheel already. That's how they come. However, that's not going to work the way we want it to work. So we're going to change out the bearings. So you can pop that out. You get this cup, and we're going to go through changing the bearings. So right here I have some parts we're going to use to change the bearings. It's going to end up looking something similar to this, with 4 wheels and a push handle. See, that's another guy on Facebook has the similar cart. Let's see. There's one, but you see it needs a lift kit and his wheels are tucked. I'm not sure if we're going to do that. But I got the right bearings. I'll give you the part number for the bearings when we get to that. I got these clamps for the axles. And I got new aluminum axle, 5/8 aluminum axle. So we're going to start this build, and I'm going to walk through some of the stuff I want to do to my offshore angler cart. We're going to buy some parts, get it ready to go. In addition to doing the modification of the cart, we're going to build like a hitch carrier. So it goes on the back of my Tahoe, my Chevy Tahoe, and it'll be easily transported. I live nowhere near the beach, so when we take these vacations, I need a good way to transport it. So we're going to build that as well. But just wanted to give you an initial setup, how it looks. Yeah, it's a great cart. Very happy with it. Very lightweight, all aluminum, and we're just gonna make it better. So might do some more clips, and then we'll start working. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is pop these bearings out of these wheels. This is the Bass Pro wheel right here. See, it has smaller bearings. I'm gonna pop this out just to show you something. To do that, I set it on a roll of duct tape. Center it up. Take a 1/2 inch extension. Put it through this end until you can find the edge of the bearing on the other side. And it should pop right out. As long as you're centered on that duct tape, yeah, it's coming. So you just tap it out just like that. Make sure you don't hit the plastic on the inside. The first time I did this, I tried to hit the plastic and it broke the lip. So there's the cup and the bearing out. You see, this is a different size bearing, and I'll show you something of that in a sec. But there's a little plastic lip in there, and if you hit that wrong, if you hit the plastic, it'll shatter, and you will lose your spacing if you break it all the way out. All we're going to do is pop that out. This Bass Pro, and this one right here is the Vivor 16. And so I have these two different bearing cups, one at each one. I'll show you something on those. So if you look, this is Bass Pro, and this is Vivor. What we're going to be running is a 5/8 axle. I have it right here, 6-foot aluminum axle. We're going to cut it down eventually. So we have to change the diameter of the Vivor to a 5/8 rod. The Bass Pro Shops already comes with 5/8 axles. This will fit right on the end of this as is perfectly. So we're not going to change these bearings. I just want to show you that. We are going to change the bearings that come on the Vivor. To do that, we have to get a different, if you get different bearings. The ones we're getting are 5/8 bore, 47 OD, and 14 millimeter wide. And they will fit perfectly in the existing cup. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this one out. Might need to cheat it again with the punch. I might grab a punch to do this because it's such a small gap. So let me grab a punch and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so I just popped this bearing out of the Vivor bearing cup. And here's the one we're going to replace it with. Now you can notice some differences. They are not the same width. This is the one I told you, 5/8 by 47 by 14. 5/8 bore, 47 millimeter OD, 14 deep, 14 wide. So you see a slight difference. However, if we take the cup and we just tap this in, I mean, these go together really easy. You shouldn't be fighting these. Even when I did this off camera, you just pop it out. You just have to catch the edge. You're essentially catching the edge of the inside race, and it's just such a small thing to hit, but it's very easy to do. It's just fooling around on camera. So you press that in, it fits in there perfectly, and you can see completely flush with the edge. So this is going to work great. So I'm going to go ahead and install all of these into the Vevor wheel. And then we'll have both the Bass Pro with 5/8 bearings and the Vevor. All 4 wheels will have the same bearings and ready for 5/8 axle. So that's what I'm going to do right now. One other thing I did notice, if you have the Vevor cup, the inner diameter of the cup is different than the Bass Pro cup. So when I first took the Bass Pro apart, I didn't think it was going to fit the 47 OD bearing, but it does fit in the Vevor wheels. So I'd recommend taking them apart and measuring them before you order your bearings, just so you know what you're looking for. You're looking for a double seal ball bearing. They're pretty cheap on Amazon. I'm going to change everything over, and I'll show you when I'm done. But it should be pretty simple. Alright, so all we're doing is popping those caps off there like I showed you in the previous clip. Changing out the bearings. So what you're going to do is pop them out of this plastic, put the new bearings in, tap these in, and put them back on the wheel. So, super simple. These bearings are a little tight on the rod for the axle, so I'm going to take these to work, cut my axle down, and machine it. You'll see that in the next clip. But right now, all we're doing is changing the axles on the Vevor wheels, or the bearings on the Vevor wheels. So I'll get this done and we'll jump to the axles. All right, real quick, I'm at work. I'm gonna cut my axle down. This is the whole 6-foot piece. I'm gonna cut it down into 36-inch sections, and we're gonna take polish one of the sections so that bearing fits nice and good on the end. So I'm gonna get this cut real quick. We'll leave the one axle for the machinist. He'll put in the lathe, polish down about 8 inches on each side, so my bearings will fit over it nice and easy and be removable. I got one of each of the bearings here, so we can make sure they fit both axles nice and good. And yep, so I'm gonna line this up and get it cut. All right, like I said, got the rods cut down. They're both 36 inches. Gonna turn down a section of the end of one of these so it fits the bearing. You can see this. This is the bearing from the Bass Pro Shops cart, and it slides right on. Perfect. This is the bearing from the Vevor cart, and this is the rod we're going to turn down so it fits a little better, so you can get it nice and smooth. Either way, just going to polish this rod about 8 inches up on each side, and we'll be good. All right, so I got that axle in the lathe. It's a through lathe. My buddy machinist is polishing it for me. He's just taking 5 thou off. This is the bearing from the Vevor wheels. Now you can see it's starting to slide over there nice and easy. Still got a little bit more polishing to do, but it's coming out really well. So you can see did about 8 inches, and I think it worked out good. So we'll jump back when this is done. Okay, making some progress on my offshore angler cart build. You see I got it completely stripped down, all the rod holders off, everything torn down, nice and clean. The cart is down to its base frame. I removed my front wheel, removed all the pieces of my broken handle, down to just the frame. I also got my axle back from the machine shop. You see they polished both ends, about 5 thou. Checked it with the wheels, the bearings in the wheels to make sure it slides on and off. So this will be the axle for the Vevor wheels, and this will be the axle for the offshore angler wheels. Super simple, easy to do. Got all my bearings changed over in all my wheels, and now it's time to start the exciting stuff. So I had placed an order with Surf Fishing Solutions out of Florida, and we got ourselves a brand new handle. This is their bucket handle that holds a bucket, and I went ahead and ordered a lift kit. Now this is a made-to-order, custom fab, 12-inch lift kit for the offshore angler. The standard lifts are about 10 inches. I contacted them, said I want a little bit higher so I can fit my big camping chairs underneath. He said it was no problem. Got it shipped out to me in under a month. And they build these things to order. It's off season, like it's February right now, and he was able to get it to me. So less than a month, got everything to my door. Great, can't wait to put it on. So I think the first thing we're gonna do is flip this over, line up our lift kit, and try and drill the holes in the bottom, make sure it's centered, and we'll go from there. All right, so just looking at this cart's gonna be huge, and it looks awesome. I got it centered up. It's about 5 inches from there to there. Comes with the hardware to bolt this together. So I'm just gonna drill my holes once I'm sure it's centered, and we'll have this cart up ready to go. Now it even comes with the holes for the axles. So this really should be a really simple process. Drilling 6 holes that they already give you like pilots for. Really straightforward. Surf Fishing Solutions really killed it on this kit. I mean, it looks really nice. All the welds look good. Everything looks good. So yeah, I'm just gonna double check, make sure everything's square and even, and we'll drill this in and take a look. All right. Okay, so I got my first 2 bolts in, my center bolts. Triple check my measurements before I did those. Now I turned it on its side to do the other 4. The hardware it comes with is really nice. Stainless with lock washers and nuts, or lock nuts, I mean. So perfect length, no overhanging bolts. They're just really high quality. Exactly what you want. So I'm gonna finish putting the holes in here, and then we'll see how the axles bolts line up for these, and we'll go from there. Okay, so got the wheels and the axles on. They're just done by zip ties because my U-bolts I bought didn't fit the holes, and I don't want to drill any holes in this lift kit right now. But axles are on. These are the Vevor wheels. These are the Offshore angler wheels. So we're gonna flip it over, see what it looks like. Not do anything crazy because obviously just zip ties on those axles. But yeah, I think it's gonna look sweet. So I'm gonna flip this over and I'll jump right back with you. All right, there it is. It's huge. I mean, it's absolutely massive. With these are 16-inch wheels, and it's hard to even get it in frame in my little garage. It's massive. It looks awesome. So I just want to show you that. That's super cool. I'm super hype. I mean, it's like with the cooler's gonna be this tall. It's gonna be huge. I'm just super impressed. It's monstrous in person. I don't know how well it's showing up in camera. It's as tall as a Honda Shadow motorcycle over there. You can see I got my handle. This is the Surf Fishing Solutions bucket handle that we're gonna get on there next. Okay, I guess the next step is we're gonna get this handle put on. So you can see it's 3 pieces. You got the handle with the grips on it, which is really nice. They give you the grips. I see some other companies don't. You got the mount. This will mount to the bottom, or to the cart. And it's got a thing on the bottom so you can't drop through. So I got to figure out where that goes. And actually, of course, it looks like it perfectly lines up with this. So this is going to be easy. I'll just have to drill holes into this once I get my width. And it comes with this intermediate shaft with a pinhole right there. And then the handle itself with a pin. So it's removable, it'd be my guess. So I'm going to pin that in there with the pin, and then try and find out my width and measure that and try and line up where the mounts go for the cart side. I hope that made sense. That was terrible. Anyway, gonna work a little bit and then I'll jump back with you. Okay, so I found my center line and I marked where the handle is gonna go, made sure it was centered, made sure it's centered. Then marked my holes on my bracket. I want these facing in. This is the first bracket. So we're going to go right like that. Put 1 through that top piece and 2 through the bottom. And I'll copy these holes onto the second bracket. Just make sure you have your angle going the right way. This is the bottom, obviously. So it sits like that. And I want it flush right at the top like that. So once I get my holes in this and this one, I'll mock them up and transfer the holes into the cart. Okay, so I got my holes drilled in those pieces. I'm waiting to mark the actual cart to drill my holes. I taped the handle insert into the mounts, and then I have these clamped on here. And it's kind of finicky, but I just want to make sure it's in the right spot and it looks level and everything before I drill holes and you know, finalize everything. It looks really good from this angle. So, just gonna double check my measurements, make sure it's even and centered, and then mark the holes for the mounts and drill the holes. Put the bolts in. It'll be good. All right, got the handle on. This is probably where I'm stopping for today. Got the handle all bolted on. It came with 4 bolts. I'm gonna get an extra set, put 6 in, just for extra security. There's a little bit of a shake, but that's just in these pins right here. You can see it wobble. I've seen you can do heat shrink on that to try and take up some of that slack, keep the rattle out of it. But this thing's unbelievable. I mean, it's pretty lightweight. The handle's super strong. You can easily pick it up. I mean, it's big for sure. It's massive. But I love it. I love it. I think it's sweet. So, gonna jump back with another video here shortly. But for tonight, I'm done. So, see you in the next clip. Okay, so it's been a while. Been a couple weeks since I've been working on this. It got warm for a couple weeks and then got cold again. So, still cold here in Ohio, but back to work. So, what I'm doing now is I got my Surf Fishing Solutions bucket handle. And I bought this nice magma cutting board off Amazon. It was actually used, and it was on sale for, you know, like half off. So this was like $40 used, and it looks brand new, never been cut on. So we're gonna attach this to the handle. I really like this setup for having a place to cut bait. It has a mounting solution for like a boat or a post you put in. We're not gonna use that. What we're going to use is some 1-inch insulated hose clamp, U-clamps I mean, and we're just going to tuck these around the Surf Fishing Solutions handle, kind of like that, and we're going to put some very small either screws or bolts in. I'll probably do 3 of these just to have it nice and secure on this bar and that bar right there. So we're going to try and figure out our spacing, mark some holes, and figure out what kind of screws we're going to use, and might get a little bit further along, I'll show you. Okay, so I got the handle off, cutting board upside down. I have it squared up exactly where I want it. I drilled my first hole and put a bolt in there just to mark to hold it. And now I'm just being really careful to make sure it's square. I'm gonna drill that hole, and then I'm gonna put more clamps right there and right there. So hopefully that holds it. We'll jump back in a minute and see how it came out. Okay, so I got it mounted, all 3 clamps. You can see underneath, 1, 2, 3. I am going to change the hardware. This is just the hardware I had on hand. Going to do a countersink, just like these, from the top down, and put stainless countersunk bolts in. Overall, it's super sturdy. I like it a lot. I mean, you can lift the whole handle with it. I just want to show you how much better this is. This is the basket I was using. So this is one of the improvements we've made. Dramatic improvement. I don't need the bait basket, you know. I don't really fish with sand fleas. So this is not useful to me and is not mounted well. So combining a new fillet table or bait table with the Surf Fishing Solutions handle, way better solution for me. Solid, sturdy. Also a good place to put keys and stuff like that, you know. So I'll have some more stuff I need to do this. Still need to get the rod holders on this cart. And then we're down to like fine, small details and stuff. Still need to get my cargo carrier figured out too. But we'll get to that. But for now, got my new bait table all dialed in. You can see it has access for 2 knives. This one I can use. This one hits the actual bar of the Surf Fishing Solutions handle, so I'm not going to use that one. But then plenty of room for pliers or something like that. Overall, thrilled with this. Yeah, going to keep working. But I think this looks good, and it's a big improvement over that little one that came with the Fishing Mate cart. So anyway, stay tuned. We'll keep working. Okay, we're back working on the fishing cart. Trying to figure out my rod holders. So I'm doing a like 2-piece rod holder because the place I fish has like to get to it has like overhead cover. So I can't have 10-foot rods sticking up out of it when I'm trying to get to the beach. So I break them down into 2 pieces, leave the line attached, and this is how I'm doing it. So I have 1.25" PVC Schedule 40, and I have a cap down there to catch the rod tip on the rod tip holder, and then this is 1.5" PVC. These are my 8-foot rods. I have 10-foot rods. So on my 8-foot rods, I ran a 17-inch piece, and it will clear the tires. On my 10-foot rods, they're gonna go in the middle. I'm gonna have a 2-foot piece, right in the middle with the rod tip holder to the right. So that should give a pretty even height of all the rods, and it's about 5 foot tall. You know, when you're standing, should be very manageable to work from. So that's what I'm doing. I'm using these stainless, or these clamps with the rubber. I don't know how well these are gonna work. It's just what I'm testing. I need to get them tighter, so I'm trying to figure out how to do that. But that's what I'm working through. I'm definitely doing 4 sets of rod tip holder there. We'll see how many I do total, but at least doing 4. So I'll keep working. I'll let you know I make some progress. Okay, so I got all 4 sets of rod holders on. You can see these are my 10-footers on the left, and they drop the rod comes all the way down to here. I am going to add a second set of clamps in here. All I did was use a center hole, and so I drilled 3 holes per set of clamps. And like I said, I'm going to square up the bottom, make sure it's exactly perfectly straight, and add a second set of clamps down here to each set. But for now, I think it works really good. And so the whole reason we're doing this is the rods are not too tall. So these rods, I'm like 6 foot tall-ish. Rods are probably under 7 foot tall while on the cart. So I think it looks good. I may do more sets. I don't know. I kind of like the 4 rod setup, to be honest. Maybe I'll put just a small one, extra one right here. Maybe just have random for like a light, ultra light rod or something. There's a beaky rod maybe. I'm not sure. But this is where we're at right now. I'm gonna add the second set of clamps to both sides, and then I'm gonna start flaring the PVC. I just tried it on this one. As you can see, it didn't come out great. So we're gonna work on that, and gonna paint the PVC because I hate the look of PVC. So gonna do something about that. But overall, it's coming out pretty well. So stay tuned. Okay, so it's been a little bit since I've worked on this cart. I don't remember the last time I showed you anything, but here's where we're at. Cart's put together with the lift. Got my rod holders on. These are the middle rods are for 10-foot rods, and the rod tips. So where I fish has overhang, so I have to do rod tip holders in addition to the rod holder, like the 2-piece rods. You know what I mean? So I got 4 rod holders on for my big surf rods. I'm currently adding these little cheap chintzy rod holders I spray painted for different accessories. They're going to go 2 by the handle right here, and I'll probably put 2 more somewhere on the side here using the existing holes. So I don't really want to drill any more holes. I'm taking the handles off so I can get this reflective tape off because it looks like crap. Other than that, we're pretty close. So trying to get final fitment. Got a beach trip coming up in about a month. Need to have this done. You can see I just did the rod holders on with Pete clamps, or I guess just pipe clamps. And then I heated up and melted the tip of them so my eyelets will fit down in there. And the rod tip holders have a cap on them, and the bare rod does not, because the handle will catch it, and I cut a slot for the handle so it doesn't rattle around. That's kind of where we're at. I got the cooler. I bought a cooler for it, a new cooler, and yeah, I'll give you an update once it's back together for final assembly. For transport, I'm probably going to take the wheels off. I haven't figured that out 100% yet, but we're working through it. So, still working on this. Going to do a final wrap-up video pretty soon, but yeah, going to keep working. Okay, we're about done with this beach cart offshore angler build. One of the key components I'm using is this Allen bike rack. It's a 542RR bike rack. What I've done to it is taken out the middle. There were 4 bike spots. Took out the middle 2. And then I put PVC spacers, 1.5 or 1.25 PVC. And I cut it to length so it'll fit my rails. So these grips sit right on these rails. And made sure my spacing's right. And then you can strap it down just like a bike. And this is actually really sturdy. So I'm going to throw it up there and let you take a look at it. So I do long trips, so I might take the wheels off for long trips, but it will work with the wheels on. I did have to trim it a little bit. There were 2 little flanges right there. I cut those off with a grinder, and then I had to relocate some of my rod holders because they were, it's hard to see, but they were hitting right in the middle because it was right here. So this is going to sit right there and then clear this. So it does work. I've tried it. It's custom built for this offshore angler cart. It's really sturdy. The pin's not even in it. Holds plenty of weight. I bought it off Marketplace for I think $20 or $40. And like I said, oh, and then I actually put 1.25 PVC there too. So you have 4 spacer pieces and then a real small 5th to get away from that bar. So I'll throw it up there real quick and do another clip. But yeah, that's how it's going to be transported. Okay, so now you can see it's on there. And it does sit at a little bit of an angle, tilted up, but it's very secure. It's not going anywhere. And you can see my clamps all line up perfectly with this offshore angler cart. So all you have to do is strap these down. You can do it with the wheels on or off. You can do it with the handle on or off. I had to move a rod holder from here because I have one hand there and one hand there, and you just lift it up and slide it on, and it works really well. So I am probably going to do some straps for longer trips, more additional straps for this, maybe even a bike lock, because like I'm in Ohio and I gotta go all the way to Florida this week. So probably do some strip this cart down a little bit more for long trips, but like around town and from my house to my fishing spot. It's good to go. The handle's not going anywhere. It's nice and sturdy. It's a little balanced with the handle, but if I were to pop the handle out, it would sit in there perfectly. So yeah, just wanted to show you that. It's the Allen bike rack surf fishing cart, and I'm very happy with it. So thanks for watching. See the end of the video. She was set up here, Bean Point, Anna Maria Island. Got the cart dialed in with all the junk. Trying to catch shark. See everything set up good. Pushes really well in the soft sand at Anna Maria. Got 2 big rods out. Chairs, those big camping chairs. Cutting board works great. Everything works great. So now all I gotta do is catch fish. So it's gonna end up this being the end of the video. But thanks for watching, and love with your buddy.